Well, the past week in Spider and Venom news has been all about Knull. We got the new trailer for Venom: The Last Dance, and it became very clear the god of the symbiotes was going to be front and center. And now Knull co-creator Donny Cates has read the script and has teased a little bit of the plans for the villain moving forward. And his intel is, well, kind of intriguing. Let's dive in. Well, let's be fair, the Venom movies have always drawn a little bit of a mixed response from fans. They have been enjoyable, but they've definitely faced a pretty high level of critique from the Spider-Man fan base. Now, after seeing the trailer for The Last Dance, it does appear like Sony Pictures is finally going all out for the threequel, and they're going right to the source, and it appears Knull, God of the Symbiotes, is front and center. Nowhere in the trailer did we see Venom directly facing off with the character, so it's unclear right now if he'll have a direct presence in the film or serve as a larger villain, which could, according to other reports, lead us into Spider-Man 4. We did a story the other day that suggested that Peter Parker and Eddie Brock could team up to face off with Knull in the fourth Spider-Man film, which will be a multiverse adventure and allow that sort of crossover. Now, despite it not being in the trailer, Knull's co-creator, Donny Cates, has dived in and broke his silence on the King in Black and if they'll go face to face. He actually said, "There's a movie being created where a character that Ryan Stegman and I created is fighting a character Todd McFarlane created. I've been talking with Sony and I read the script Venom: The Last Dance, and I'll say this, it's so much bigger and so much more ambitious than you can imagine." And, Knull, holy shit, that's how you treat a king. Now, I guess to be fair and keep the perspective proper, Donny Cates has probably been compensated for his version of the character and some of his work showing up in the film. Heck, co-creator Ryan Stegman even went on to say that if this movie was a hit, he was going to put a lazy river moat around his house. So I think both creators definitely are being treated right by Sony, but that doesn't mean they have to kind of throw praise on this film like they have been. Now, honestly, whenever you get comic book creators to kind of kick in on a project and level some praise on it, that means at least the interpretation of their work must be rock solid. I am super excited about Knull being part of this film, and I do believe Sony has some pretty ambitious plans moving forward, and do not think Knull is going to be a one-and-done character in the third part of the trilogy. Now, none of this confirms that Spider-Man 4 report and whether Tom Hardy and Tom Holland's character will team up for that project. We all know that's what Sony really wants. And if Marvel has a short multiverse window, well, they can kind of accommodate that request, and hopefully if they do that, all those street-level heroes will basically remain on hold until the next film. It also opens the door to lots of other Spider-Man variations, which I don't think Sony or Marvel will miss the opportunity to do. So if this is truly a multiverse adventure, expect Miles, expect Gwen, and expect Andrew and Tobey to return to give us even more Spider-Man facing off with a huge and massive multiverse threat. Obviously, we're going to follow this pretty closely. I'm glad Donny Cates kind of chimed in. I love hearing what the actual creatives have to say. Comic book people don't get enough credit for how they influence cinema, and whenever anybody praises an interpretation of their work, I think it's a good sign.